Okay, welcome back everybody to Walks and Wall Street. And in today's walking tour, we are going to be walking Dumbo. That's right, Dumbo Brooklyn. This is one of my favorite neighborhoods in all of New York City. Now, in front of us, you can see the Manhattan Bridge. And if we walk over just a little bit, you'll see that iconic shot you've probably seen a million times, right? You can see the Empire State Building directly underneath the main trusses of the Manhattan Bridge. So what I think we're going to do today, we'll do a little bit of a walking tour around Dumbo. We'll check out some of the views of Lower Manhattan, stretching all the way up into Billionaire's Row in the big city of New York. And then we might take a walking tour over the Manhattan Bridge and back into Chinatown. So let's get started. But first, if you are thinking about moving to Brooklyn, New York, buying, renting, or even selling, feel free to reach out to us at the email address below, and we'd be more than happy to help you out here at the Kirsten Jordan team at Douglas Elliman. So let's get started. You have Front Street Pizza right here. You're going to see lots of interesting coffee shops, lots of interesting pizza places, and some fantastic restaurants. Over to the right, you have one of my favorite coffee shops in the city. It's a pretty big chain that's local to Manhattan in New York City. It's called Joe Coffee. Now this is a Thursday afternoon in Dumbo, Brooklyn. It's about 4:30 p.m. as we're filming. There seems to be a lot of tourists out. This is the corner of Water Street and Washington Street. You have all of these gorgeous red brick facades as well as the fire escapes. And I think it looks really nice with the sun setting on the buildings. Now if we turn the camera a little bit over to the left, you'll see the Brooklyn Bridge. So you're going to have really great views of two of the most iconic bridges really in the world, the Brooklyn Bridge and the Manhattan Bridge. Now, in the distance on the Manhattan side, you'll see this really big new development. This is called One Manhattan Square, and you're probably familiar with this development from New York City's Billionaire's Row. Now, 157 was the first building to ever be built on 57th Street to coin the term Billionaire's Row. Now, it was developed by Extel, which is Gary Burnett's company. He then went on to develop Central Park Tower, and this is one of his newest developments over in Lower Manhattan. It is called One Manhattan Square, an ultra-luxury residential condominium. Pretty cool. We could see it all the way here from Dumbo. In the distance is a really nice shot of the Brooklyn Bridge. Now the views coming up of Lower Manhattan are pretty spectacular. It's almost going to look like a painting, is the best way I could describe it. As we break through the tree line here, you'll see an unobstructed view of One World Trade Center, all of Lower Manhattan, the river, and the Brooklyn Bridge. Look at how beautiful this looks. Okay, let's walk over by Jane's Carousel.
Hey.
You can see all the wonderful outdoor dining options you have, particularly on a beautiful summer day like it is today in New York City. It would be great to have a drink after work, or have a lunch or a dinner with friends, and overlook this amazing view of the Brooklyn Bridge in Lower Manhattan. If you notice all the way in the distance right here, that is the Hudson Yards development just behind 34th Street Penn Station. So you can pretty much see all of Midtown Manhattan from here. Pretty soon as we get to the other side of Jane's Carousel, Billionaire's Row will come into view, and we'll quickly discuss each one of those notable buildings. They have really beautiful green space here. So if you want to bring a chair or lay out a towel, you can enjoy the weather while taking in those Lower Manhattan views. Now this is a good view of the Manhattan Bridge, but if you look all the way in the distance, that is another notable bridge. That is called the Williamsburg Bridge. Maybe we will walk that in another tour coming up. Now pay close attention, because all the way in the distance, you have a clear and unobstructed view of the Statue of Liberty. We are now officially walking directly under the Brooklyn Bridge. This is a really good lobster place. It's called Luke's Lobster. They're very famous for their lobster rolls. And they have a location directly under the Brooklyn Bridge. You have Ignacio's Pizza across the street with these beautiful Belgian block streets. And at the end of the block, we're going to come up on the very famous Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory, which is a staple, pretty much a Brooklyn icon that is home, calls its home to Dumbo Brooklyn. Okay, this is Old Fulton Street and Water Street. Okay, this is officially the famous Brooklyn Ice Cream Factory. Right on Everett Street. And you have really nice views. So you could enjoy your ice cream, look at the One World Trade Center, all of Lower Manhattan. You can see the South Street Seaport, and you have unobstructed views of the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, in clear view, you may be wondering what that building is ahead of us. This is a brand new development, Olympia Dumbo, and Douglas Elliman is leading the sales for this new condominium. Now, Olympia Dumbo has stunning views. The Brooklyn Bridge, the Manhattan Bridge, all of Lower Manhattan, and the World Trade Center. They just finished all of the amenities. They have a tennis court, they have an outdoor pool, indoor pool, cold plunge, full gym, pretty much all of the amenities and the works you could ever dream of. But the developers and the architect made the building to resemble a sailboat. So all of the finishes within the unit, throughout the lobbies, throughout the individual units, throughout the amenities, all resemble nautical vibes, which is stunning. I was actually able to do a preview of this new development, and I was extremely impressed. You could see the balconies in some of the full floor units. You're close to transportation, and you have some of the best views in the entire city. This is another good coffee shop. It's called Arabica. If you're visiting New York City, you're visiting Dumbo Brooklyn, I would highly suggest coming in here, grabbing a cup of coffee, maybe grabbing an espresso, and sitting down inside right here, because you have very unique views as you're enjoying your coffee, reading your book, or getting some of your work done. These amazing views of Lower Manhattan. We will continue to walk up because I do want to point out a very notable pizza place called Grimaldi's, which is just to the left, should be on Front Street. And we will make a left on Front Street now. Okay, here it is, number 1 Front Street. This is the address of the very famous Grimaldi's. We are now going to pass directly through the front doors of Olympia Dumbo. If you're thinking about moving to Dumbo Brooklyn, I would highly, highly recommend this new development here. Okay, this is Main Street and Front Street. This is the main entrance to Olympia Dumbo. It's such a unique building. And once again, the developers and the architects designed it to resemble a sailboat. So you'll have all interesting nautical notes and undertones throughout the entire development. In the lobby, I don't know if you could see it, but you could see the model of the building. You have a beautiful reflection of the Manhattan Bridge and the Empire State Building. Now, right as you walk out your front doors, you can see the Manhattan Bridge and the Empire, a clear view. But we are going to continue to walk down towards the end of the block, and that is going to take us to the on-ramp of the Manhattan Bridge. That is going to be the walking and biking lane, and we're going to get on and walk all the way to Chinatown. Another coffee shop and grocery store at the Dumbo Market. We're back at Front Street Pizza again. You're going to make a left on Front Street. Now you're going to notice when we get on the Manhattan Bridge, it's going to be a little loud. And that's because the subway goes over the Manhattan Bridge, not the Brooklyn Bridge. However, in my opinion, I think the views from the top of the Manhattan Bridge are a little bit better than the views from the Brooklyn Bridge. I'll let you guys be the deciders for that. Probably going to see a lot of traffic too. It's rush hour. Okay, Sand Street. We are almost there. To the right is the on-ramp to the Brooklyn Bridge. To the left is the on-ramp to the Manhattan Bridge. We'll cross one more time. I think we'll just make it. Okay, now we are coming up on, well, this is High Street, but if you keep walking down, you'll see J Street, Metro Tech. And this is going to run into the CUNY College of Technology. And those steps right there are where we are going to go. This is the pedestrian path to the Manhattan Bridge. So we will cross at the light and get started on our walk over. Now the Manhattan Bridge, just to give everybody a little bit of a reminder, from the Brooklyn side, walking over to the Manhattan side, it's going to drop you off right at Canal Street. And that's going to be the heart of Chinatown. So it's very convenient. Very convenient. Chinatown's one of my favorite places in the city. We'll do a little jaywalking action. See the subway going by. This is the N train. So now we have officially made it to the walking pedestrian path going over the Manhattan Bridge from the Brooklyn side to the Manhattan side. It should take us about 15 minutes to complete our walk over to the island of Manhattan. And we're doing this at a good time too. The sun is just starting to set, so we're going to be able to see golden hour as the sun sets over the One World Trade Center and Lower Manhattan. Look at all that traffic coming onto the Brooklyn Bridge. So we've officially left the mainland. And as you can see, we're now suspended above the water. And you have magnificent views of the World Trade Center and the Brooklyn Bridge. Now keep in mind, this is where we were when we started the beginning of the walk. We are now almost halfway across the Manhattan Bridge. We should have about maybe, I would say, 7 to 10 minutes left to walk all the way over. You can see the sun glistening off the water. It looks absolutely beautiful. Now, that really interesting looking building in the distance is the Jenga building, and it resembles the game Jenga. That is in Tribeca, which is one of the most desirable and expensive neighborhoods in New York City. Okay, everyone, if you enjoyed that walking tour of Dumbo Brooklyn and over the Manhattan Bridge, please subscribe to the channel. And if you're looking to move to New York City, give me a call or send me an email to the email address below, and I'd be more than happy to help you out buy, sell, or rent in Manhattan. We are one of the most successful real estate sales teams in New York. Please reach out to us at the Kirsten Jordan team at Douglas Elliman, and we will see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching.